The headline here is Isaiah Stewart. You see it there. He has a 7-game suspension. Miles Bridges with 4 games. Diabate, 4 games. Jalen Duren, 2 games. So that is the breakdown now of the suspensions. And Isaiah Stewart there, speaking of the Pistons at the top with 7 games, you'd have to assume because he's a multi-time offender here in terms of a fight and being ejected. But let's react to this now that the suspensions are officially in for that fight that we saw break out on Monday night in this game. Go ahead, Stephen A.
I completely agree with this. No doubt about it. Miles Bridges, threw a couple of punches, got to get the 4 games. Diabate, he was out of control, had to be restrained, imitating Isaiah Stewart from back in the day when he was chasing after LeBron James. Okay, so you had to give him his 4 games. All right, Durham instigated it, mushed him in the face. You got to give him the 2 games. What I'm most pleased about is Isaiah Stewart and that suspension. And here's the problem. Here's the issue. I actually like the brother. He's a rough rider. He's a physical dude. I respect the hell out of him. I think that if he could keep his temper under control and channel it to keeping him on the basketball court, I think he will be a pivotal piece for the Detroit Pistons. But every time there's the slightest scuffle, is this brother ready to swing on people? Is this brother he came off the bench. He was not in the game. And it's like, you're looking at it, you have teammates. It's 7 or 8 dudes. Nobody gets off the bench but him. Nobody. He's always ready to fight. And it's like, yo, bro, do you want to be a UFC fighter? Do you want to be a boxer? Or do you want to be a basketball player? Because every time you turn around, that brother is in the picture looking like he's ready to swing on people. It's like you got to reel him in. Because if I'm an opponent, guys, and I'll end it by saying this. If I'm an opponent of the Detroit Pistons, and I know that the combination of Duren and Stewart is formidable, obviously, and they're going to win basketball games for you. Oh, y'all, I'm instigating something with Isaiah Stewart because it ain't going to be tough. It ain't going to be tough to do. I'm playing with that dude's mind. I'm going right at him to coax him into doing something that's going to get him ejected and suspended because he will do it. He will allow it. He's got to get himself under control. And JB is a great coach. And the Pistons have proven they've got a great organization. They should be very proud of what they're doing. And I really, really like Stewart. I would want him on the Knicks. I'm not throwing shade on him. I like the guy. But you got to reel him in. On too many occasions, he's just out of control. He deserved that 7-game suspension.
Go ahead, Shanae.
So what I'm thinking about this is coming off the bench is absolutely unnecessary. That's a safety hazard. We never condone that. And we understand. I was reading the body language on the sidelines. It's like his teammates knew that he was probably going to do that because this is his role. No matter what, he's going to be that guy that protects his team. But still, in this circumstance, when you are number 1 in the East, at least you have a 6-game buffer in the loss column, 13 losses to 19 with the Celtics at the number 2 spot. Maybe you can hold on. I like this news coming in the middle of our conversation about MVP because this is a great opportunity. This is a great opportunity for Cade to really show what he can do. But it is a tough blow also for a squad that really needs to build experience in the regular season in order to, I heard you earlier, Stephen A. say, take down the Knicks. They feel like they can come out of the Eastern Conference. They can make it to the NBA Finals. Every game matters when you're pursuing an aspiration like that. And so when you make a mistake that egregious coming off the bench, that can cost your team as a solid role player, I do think this impact can actually be bigger than just one player missing 7 games. It can sort of derail a little bit of momentum, and that to me is the most costly.
This is incredibly soft for Stewart. Patrick Ewing took 1 step off the bench and got suspended for Game 6 of an NBA second-round series by Stern, and it cost him a second-round series against the Heat. 1 step. 1 step. He ran on the court and started and increased the scuffle, and he gets 7 games. That's ridiculous. Dave Stern somewhere is saying, Adam, show some. This is he's got to get 7 games is nothing in the NBA regular season. Ewing cost his team a playoff series, and he got a game, and it killed him. And he gets 7 games in the middle of February? That's absurd. He should have gotten 25 games for doing what he did. That was a joke.
Nah, that's ridiculous.
Oh, come on. Now, you stop it,
That's
Steve.
25 games. 25 games?
They lost.
25?
The Knicks
Come on,
lost
man.
that playoff
Dougie, that's
series.
ridiculous.
No,
That's
it's not.
ridiculous.
Seven
Oh,
to
look
10.
at Ewing.
No,
He took
25
one
games.
Step. One step.
7 to 10. I agree with Shanae. 7 to 10. 25 games. Go ahead, Wendy. Dougie's crazy.
No,
Dougie's
I'm not.
nuts.
Go ahead.
If any of you thought anybody was getting more than this, you haven't been paying attention to NBA enforcement for the last 10 years. And I would say that the Hornets would suffer from losing some players here, but everybody behind them in the standings is tanking, so they'll be fine.
So Jalen Duren.
I want to say this real quick before we go.
Go ahead.
Before we go to break, I want to repeat myself in this regard. Ain't nobody rooting against Isaiah Stewart here. You understand what I'm saying? He's a valuable component to the Pistons. We're saying it to him because you gotta pay attention, Isaiah Stewart. They are going to target you because you lose your mind and you don't know how to control yourself. You're an easy target for an opposition come playoff time. If you're a coach and Detroit's front line is problematic for you, you send somebody out there to get him ejected. Easy. It ain't going to be hard because that's how easy he is to do that to. He's got to course correct and change some stuff with his temper. Otherwise, he's going to find himself booted out of a series at the most inopportune of times, like Doggy just highlighted, even though Doggy is utterly ridiculous
No, I'm
with
not.
the 25-game suspension suggestion. Utterly ridiculous.
NBA All-Star Weekend is this weekend. Jalen Duren is an All-Star. He's suspended 2 games, as we just saw from Shams Charania. There's no news yet on how this will impact his All-Star status. We will assume he's
play.
eligible.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he'll play. He's eligible,
It's
and
not
he
even
will
that big of a
serve.
deal. They don't even care.
Okay, and they'll serve a suspension after the All-Star game. Okay, here's our ESPN.
Well, this just in out of the NBA, where 4 players have been suspended stemming from Monday night's brawl between the Pistons and Hornets. Take a look at it. Pistons big man Isaiah Stewart received the biggest penalty and is suspended 7 games for leaving the bench area during that fight. The league cited his previous history of repeating unsportsmanlike acts for the length of the suspension. There he is there, of course, leaving the bench area. No jersey or nothing. Hornets forward there, Miles Bridges and Musa Diabate have been suspended 4 games for fighting and escalating the altercation. And Pistons center Jalen Duren was the final player suspended, receiving a 2-game ban for initiating the altercation. Take a look at it. Hopefully we won't see any of that later tonight in hoops. You got the Hawks at 7 Eastern against the Hornets. Knicks and Sixers 30 minutes later, as well as the Pistons and Raptors. And the nightcaps there out west with the Thunder at the Suns and the Spurs to go see the Dubs at 10 Eastern.
Was asked about competing, with Wemby, not only in the game last night, but for the foreseeable future. That's a scary thought that you got to go up against this guy 4 times a year and potentially in a playoff series moving forward.
Yeah, taking a look at those numbers, by the way, we saw he had 25 in the first. He had 37 before the half, but breaking it down in totality, a 40-piece here, the fewest minutes played there in NBA history. The last time we saw something like that, Sleepy Floyd back in 91 did it in 24. But he also became the 3rd player, as I mentioned there, with those numbers. However, he had 12 boards as well. We didn't even show the boards. So to get 40 and 12, but after the game, Wemby saying you got to be a little greedy to get numbers like that.
This kind of games, you got to have, the greed. I mean, every game, you have to have this greed, to want more every time. Because, at all times, it doesn't matter who's on the court, he's going to want to stop you from doing what you do out there. So you got to be greedy.
Is this the game where you feel like if I was out there, I could have gone for 60? I could have. Did you play that game?
Of course. I mean, I know it, but I also know we got to be fresh for tomorrow. We got to make another statement tomorrow. So it's a team game at the end of the day. What the real stat that matters is the W or the L.
All right, Coach, you just hear there from Wemby. I'm just curious because I'm going to be honest and straightforward to you because we keep saying that the Spurs are building towards a contender, building towards a championship. Well, they beat OKC a number of times this season. Wemby continues to put up numbers and he's healthy. Why wait when you can build now towards a team winning this year? Like, is this the team now that they can push forward?
Oh, absolutely. This team is capable of winning the championship. We've seen them against OKC, and really, everything is on display night in and night out. This is really a complete team. Now, they're young, but they're a complete team. They're a balanced team. And then they have that one superstar, that alien, And when you go back and look at the Spurs history, go back to the late 80s. David Robinson was drafted. Then you get Tim Duncan in 97. And then you add a Tony Parker. And now you got a Victor Wembanyama. Always that anchor. Always that superstar. And this guy, he's arrived. And, when he's healthy, De'Aaron Fox is leading the way. You got a Dylan Harper coming off the bench. Steph Castle, who can play multiple positions. You got a Keldon Johnson coming off the bench. Mitch Johnson, the coach, who's been in the Spurs system for 10 plus years, learning from the great Greg Popovich. A stable organization, terrific ownership. When you look at all of those things, this team can bounce this year. Why wait? Go for it. This team can win the Western Conference. They're not afraid of OKC. They've proven that. And when you have a guy like Victor Wembanyama, we know OKC is SGA, but man, this team is a dangerous team. Why wait till next year? Go for it.
You mentioned it there with Mitch Johnson, too, because a lot of people may not give him as much credit. Obviously, he gets the credit now for what he's done to get his team into where they are. But to go from Greg Popovich